Warframe, a multiplayer masterpiece created by Digital Extremes where everything runs at a frenetic pace. You flip, you run, you jump. Everything is done quickly and with reckless abandon. Everything but the creation of the game itself, which ran in stark contrast to its actual playstyle and delivery. Join us as we review the marketing, the social interactions, and the things that drove Digital Extremes to the success of Warframe and what we call the escape plan. The creative journey is something I find quite interesting in that most of the time when people actually interface and see it from the outside looking in, the journey has been long in motion. Yet the people enjoying it think it's something that's just brand new and finally made it. That it was like this instant piece of stardom that has occurred when we see a musician, breaking through, not seeing the years toiling and practicing and doing the things that actually made them actually succeed enough to even be seen. Arriving and being found is one part of a longer journey. Digital Extremes and Warframe is a labor of love that began quite a long time ago. So in 1993, Digital Extremes was created as an adjacent studio to Epic Mega Games and was supporting their ability to put out regularly these pinball games that were incredibly popular in the 1990s. So how do we get from 1993 to 2013 when Warframe was released? Well, that's a labor of love and development that starts with just doing the work and learning your skill, but then finding that once you're developing that there is more. There's something you've envisioned that you want to bring to life, especially with the proliferation of 3D technology, the growth that Digital Extremes took working in unison with Epic Games when Epic Games starts making games like Unreal Tournament. And Digital Extremes is highly involved almost as a mirror company towards the making of weapons and levels and things, so that they cut their teeth in one of the most notable games of its time for that type of genre. But was that the thing that they really wanted to do? And what we find is while they enjoyed it, there was this passion in their leadership and within their team to make something that was theirs. This dream Warframe began as Dark Sector, this space ninja driven sci-fi experience that we kind of see the DNA of in Warframe as it exists now, began in those experiences developing with Epic Games for Unreal. So in that time, they went and pitched and did the things to try to get noticed and found that there weren't really any takers, that there wasn't an opportunity to actually bring it to life, especially in an era that relied heavily on publishers to help fund these projects. Then in 2008, they found that they actually got to release Dark Sector, but it was wholly changed from the vision they had. It became more of a Metal Gear kind of solid inspired stealth game, and not remotely close to what they really wanted. They had to change the look and feel of what becomes Excalibur, their poster boy of a character in Warframe. Years go on, and they keep doing this with Epic, and then eventually split off into being independent studio of their own, as Canadian law and as they were as being based in New London, they couldn't do a lot of things without paying a lot of upfront tax, with becoming a full merged company with Epic Games, which is based in North Carolina. So this meant that relationship kind of dissolved into them being their own independent studios completely. And in doing that, Digital Extremes found themselves heavily involved in kind of work for hire, doing things for licensed games, doing the port for BioShock, doing these great regular working things. So in this story, what we find is while we're seeing this unparalleled success in a free-to-play game and the methodology it took to get there, is we have to acknowledge and realize that these things sometimes take 20, 25 years in the making before we get to the point we are now, where this particular game is in a place where very few have arrived, with a relationship with a community and its staff that is both healthy and with a level of sustainability we don't generally see. But to get there, it began in a place of where no one could have imagined that that opportunity led there. And I think one of the things we need to learn and accept and definitely acknowledge is when you don't feel quite ready as a creator, um, keep going, keep making things. I look at this and I'm just wowed by how just participating and growing your skill set takes you from making something like pinball and taking it into something as robust and as beautiful and designed 25 years later as what we see with Warframe and its ever evolving landscape. Digital Extremes held a lot of responsibility to the people who were creators in that market. But beyond that, they kept pitching this idea for bringing Dark Sector to life as seen, which became the bastion of what Warframe was. But what they found was that in a world where fantasy MMOs were reigning supreme, that nobody wanted to take a flyer or remotely invest a chance on making a sci-fi game of that magnitude. So as they find themselves more and more regularly fighting, being able to pay for the studio hands that they have, the ability to keep the lights on, so to speak, it became nobody else is going to invest in us if we don't invest in ourselves. And a race against time to be able to put this game out in a timely manner is all drawn back to the experiences built by a team that had been working together for a prolonged period of time, doing the things and refining the vision that they had, so that when 2013 rolled around and it was a do or die moment, they found themselves able to deliver and invest their trust in themselves and to build and broker trust with a community that eventually led to the successes we see now. So when you think about where you are as a creative and that it seems so far away, don't think that everyone you look around who is making it has made it in a moment. It took a lot of moments to get there, stacked upon failures and successes and experiences, refining a vision to even make it come true. And that's what we see with Digital Extremes and Warframe, is those moments coming to fruition, the investment of time in those successes and failures, and in putting the trust in those who can help them make it come true.